Well, as Cindy Jacobs taught us about the importance of the Native people and the broken covenants with them, we started praying that God would connect us with the right Native American leaders to repent to them and begin to restore covenant with them. And we worked for almost a year and a half to find the right people. And I had heard of these two gentlemen that I have just shown you their pictures, Jay Swallow and Nigel Big Pond, as being Native American apostles. And we were going to have a meeting here at the church on July the 13th, 1997 with Chuck Pierce. And I invited them to come. I invited them through a man in El Reno, pastor at that time in El Reno that was a friend of mine that knew them. And I said, you really need to get them here. And so his name was Dennis, and Dennis invited them to come, and they said, no, we don't want to do that. And Dennis came to me and said, we're not going to come. And I said, Dennis, don't you come back here ever again until you get them here. You see, Dennis was a Church on the Rock pastor, and he was under me, and he was afraid I'd take his papers away from him. I was halfway joking, but not too much, because I knew we were desperate to get the right people here to repent to. So he went back to them, and with tears, he told Jay and Nigel, well, they're going to take my papers away if you don't come. And so they said, all right. They felt sorry for that white guy, and they came. So aren't I a stinker, you know? But when they came, I remember they were afraid of us, and we were afraid of them. I talked to them privately a little bit about what we wanted to do, because during that year and a half, we studied what we had done to the host people of the land. I mean, we really studied to find it out, because we knew if we're going to repent to them and ask for forgiveness, this can't be a superficial thing. This has got to be heartfelt and real. You know, if you say to someone, if I've offended you in any way, would you please forgive me? That's not very sincere, is it? But when you begin to confess to them what you have done to offend them in detail, then they begin to think maybe they are sincere. So they did come on this night of July the 13th, 1997, and we got down on our knees in front of them. The whole place was packed. At the time we were in the old sanctuary, and it was packed, and for over an hour on our knees we repented to Dr. Swallow and Dr. Big Pond for what we had done to them. You know, the Native American people have the highest suicide rate, the highest unemployment rate, the highest poverty rate, a lot of bad things, and probably the least evangelized people group in America. What we understand is only about 3% of Native Americans on a reservation are born again, because they don't want anything to do with what is perceived as the white man's God. And I can't blame them, because my white-skinned ancestors came here and made covenants with them, and we said that our God is Jesus Christ, and then lied to them and killed them and took their land away from them. Would you want to join in with that? I don't think so. You know, it was estimated that when Columbus came to what is now America, there were somewhere between 14 to 20 million American Indians living in this land. But by the 1890 census, there was only a little more than 200,000 left. So when you go from somewhere around 14 to 20 million down to about 200,000, that's almost a complete genocide. Some of it was intentional, some of it was unintentional, but nevertheless it did happen. So you can understand why many Native Americans don't want anything to do with the white man's God, and that's still what they say. But when we got down on our knees in front of Jay and Nigel and repented to them, I was very glad that they didn't do what the Gibeonites did to David when they said, give us 7 of your I was just glad that they didn't say, give us 7 of your church members to hang. I had a dozen back then. I'd have given them. No, I'm just kidding. You know, I'm joking about 15. No, I'm joking. But they saw we were very sincere, and they granted forgiveness to it. But God took it a step further and brought us really in covenant, because a lot of things happened. For one, Jay and Nigel began to adopt us into their tribes. Jay adopted me into the Cheyenne tribe and gave me the Cheyenne name Maheo-Nist, which means God stands, or holy man standing for God. Nigel adopted me into the Yuchi, or Creek Nation, Muskogee Nation, and gave me the name Goha-Nani, which means peacekeeper, or man who carries a big stick, or law enforcer. and handsome and good look. No, it doesn't mean, I keep wanting to add those last two things, but it does mean sheriff or peacekeeper. So I'm just saying to you that we came into covenant. It was not just a superficial thing of asking for forgiveness. It was deep, and we're best of friends, and we do a lot of things together. God put us into covenant, and that's what He wanted to do.